Okay. Right. I'm gonna have to check that this is all working all okay because a little while ago, as in a couple I've just opened Xcode by mistake. Force quit. Um a couple of days ago I opened my Streamlabs, and for some reason Streamlabs had deleted all of my like presets for all of my scenes and stuff for streaming. So I was like at the time, oh, I'll get around to doing that, I'm sure, by the next time that I decide to stream. And I've had to create like everything just a little minute ago. Hey Diaz, actually it's really good that you're here because I was going to have to wait or check myself. Oh hey, it's Phoebe as well. Amazing. I was going to have to check myself whether like the audio input was working correctly in my new scenes. So, I mean, if you're here and you're not complaining like that, or not complaining's not the right word, or not saying something's wrong in the chat, then I maybe can assume that at the very least you can see me and hear me, which is like the minimum thing needed for streaming, I believe. So, yeah, there's that. Good grief. The only problem, or one of the problems with being in a completely different time zone is by the time that I'm sort of settling in for the night, I get like a lot of different messages. Everybody else in the world is waking up. So if everything sounds okay, if I switch to my screen share scene, which, because I'm on a single screen, you would have seen Streamlabs for a second there, because I'm traveling at the moment, I don't have multiple screens. I will go into Twitch on my phone just to see if y'all are talking in the chat, because I actually can't check if I'm on a single screen. That's well, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Okay, let's find. Oh, okay. So I can see myself on my phone. That it is indeed sharing the correct screen. The thing that I want to share, and not a thing that I don't want to share. It looks like my little video is doing okay, and then the chat should pop up. I've been playing around with widgets as well since I had to go into Streamlabs and do stuff. Anyway, we've got a couple of things that we want to do today on stream. There is the general maintenance work. We're going to take a look at this. I got permission. Not that this is tricky, I guess, like in open source. I didn't necessarily need permission to talk about this work, but I'm gonna talk through one of my most recent penpot pieces of work for an open source software tool that we actually, as an organization, the organization that I work for, they got paid to do. So we're going to talk through how that penpot is set up, and essentially just we're going to talk through a few things for that project. We're going to talk about how you approach an open source design project for a open source software that has had some design before, but not necessarily done in sort of like an integrated open source way. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. We're going to look at the related issue, actually, because this is the first time that I've actually seen the related issue to do with this piece of work. We sort of did for lack of a better term, we did sort of like a handoff with this piece of work because we were no longer like funded to continue the work. And again, we'll talk about that in maybe a little bit more detail with the complexities to do with like when you get paid to do design work on open source, and like maybe we'll talk about some of my opinions about whether that's an open source contribution or not. and how it's sort of maybe could be categorized as both. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about that project a little bit after we've done some general maintenance work, and then we're also going to talk through. For a long time, this has been on my to-do list. I've got quite a few things actually on my open source contribution to-do list. The two things that are most important that I actually kind of feel like I owe people responses to is feeding back on this design contribution for open source project brief, which was created by the lovely folks over at Canonical, the design folks over at Canonical. They make Ubuntu. And I wanted to actually kind of read this and digest it, and maybe actually on the stream what we'll end up doing is kind of doing some comments and doing some like live feedback on the document and see if we can send it to them. Maybe not on stream, obviously, because I don't want to share my email inbox. But yeah, I mean, it's currently 8 p.m. I'm only going to do an hour long stream because 8 p.m. I haven't had dinner yet. I woke up late because I didn't feel very well this morning. I felt bad last night as well, and so I slept a little bit, but I got loads of work done, and then I went out because I wanted to pick up a few things at the Meiji Jingu shrine. One thing for me and one thing for a friend who was going through a rough time at the moment. So I wanted to pick up a couple of like good luck charms and amulets. I can show them on screen just because they're really beautiful. I got this one for me. And the nice thing about Meiji Jingu Shrine, if you've not been or you're considering going, is when you pick up an amulet, you get a QR code on the back, so you can actually sort of read about what the amulet is. If you've suddenly forgotten about what the amulet actually does, you can read on the QR code. But this one is the one that I picked up for a friend. I'll just open it up from the wooden box. It's beautiful, this one. Oh, it's absolutely like beautifully sort of wrapped. I'm going to do it. I mean, this has now become an open source software stream, plus look at what Errol's been doing today, I suppose. But yeah, we'll get on to the open source stuff in a moment, or like the work. But yes, look at these beautiful things. Well, I mean, it's going to be incredibly small because let's get the big cam out. There we go. Isn't it very pretty? But I suppose this is the beginning of the stream where we get warmed up and we chat, just in case folks wanted to see the other one a little bit bigger. This one's for me. I think this one is Good Fortune or Peace of Mind. I can't actually remember exactly which one it is. Actually, do you know what? I'll just use the QR code. But yeah, I've been over in a few different countries lately for conferences and the like. So it's been a busy old time. Victory and perseverance. Right now I need a lot of perseverance. Helps you win and overcome yourself. So I think I was trying to choose between the peace of mind one and winning. But I also picked up a Meiji Jingu doesn't do, I think, like fortunes, like traditional fortunes, or if they do, then they're in a different area. But you can pay 100 yen and get a waka poem, which is on this piece of paper here. You pick from like little drawers, which is how you pick the fortunes usually in smaller shrines or somewhere else, maybe in the shrine. But it's really beautifully embossed. If you can you can't really see on camera, but the paper is really like quite special. I might not attempt to read this, although it's really interesting because I guess you maybe read this way, but the first line here is this line here, the second line. But a waka poem was composed in the tradition of 5-7-5-7-7 syllable form by Emperor Meiji, whose spirit is enshrined at the Meiji Jingu. It's hoped that the poem's message, based on traditional Shinto ethics, will have a particular meaning for you. But the English translation of the poem is: the morning sun rises so majestically high into the sky, how we yearn to maintain such a clear, reviving heart. Which I think is quite lovely. It's quite a lovely poem. But we're also drinking some Pocari Sweat. We're rehydrating today because it's incredibly hot in East Asia. So hydrating is absolutely essential in this heat. We're talking like even at night it doesn't go lower than 27 at the lowest, 27 degrees Celsius, which I'm not sure what the Fahrenheit is. 70, I guess it's 70 something Fahrenheit, but in the hottest part of the day we're talking like here we're talking like 35, 36 degrees Celsius. Feels more like 38-ish. Slightly lower humidity here than in Taiwan. Taiwan was like 100% humidity, which made quite a lot of the days in Taiwan. Like the minimum was like 37 degrees and it felt like 46 sometimes. So yeah, not for the faint of heart, and also not for wearing much makeup because it will literally melt off your face. Okay, so let's get back into the open source stuff. So let's do some of the general maintenance that we've got going on. If I remember correctly, we've had some recent new jobs submitted to the open source design group, and we're gonna merge them if we can. Oh, I did not reach out to this person. Do you know what? I'll reach out to them. On stream so that I can make sure that I've actually done it. I think something got merged recently. Glossier sounds familiar. This is beautiful layout. Overview of the organization, because it's not the repo. I like this like README. Glossier is an open hub for the social localization of software projects. Fully licensed under the FSL, the Functional Source License. Okay, this is a completely new license. I don't think I've actually read before. Let's take a read. Is a mostly permissive non-compete license that converts to Apache 2.0 or MIT after 2 years. We'll have a look at how long the project's been going. It is designed for SaaS companies that value both user freedom and developer sustainability. FSL provides everything a developer needs to use and learn from your software without harmful free riding. Here are the products using this. Add yours on GitHub. Interesting. I need to read about this harmful... Oh, what is harmful free riding? Perfect. I don't have to go to the Wikipedia page if I don't want to. In the social sciences, the free rider problem is a type of market failure that occurs when those who benefit from resources, public goods, and common pool resources do not pay for them or underpay. Examples of such goods are public roads or public libraries or services other than goods of a communal nature. Free riders are a problem for common pool resources because they may overuse it without paying for the good, either directly through fees and tolls or indirectly through taxes. Consequently, gosh, it's been a long day. The common pool resource may be underproduced, overused, or degraded. Additionally, it's been shown that despite evidence, that people tend to be cooperative by nature, okay, interesting. So what does FSL actually permit? I guess like some copyright power for 2 years, it said. A competing use. Okay, so it sounds like you can use, so after 2 years it goes to this FSL Apache or FSL MIT. But essentially it says you can't make a competitor off of the original source code, the open source code. So you can't, for example, I can't look at Glossier's source code and be like, this is an open source project and I could create the same or a similar project and either monetize it or not. Because I can't make a competitor with the code. Okay, interesting. Let's grab that link because we'll need it to just merge this. Gosh, my laptop's really struggling today. Struggling in the sense that it's very hot. We expect a design system in the designs of the website and the web app. We intend to have public on Figma or Penpot when they support it. Gosh, I'm so tired. We believe that most of the internet remains inaccessible due to linguistic barriers, and we want to contribute to change that. That's a noble cause. Looks good to me. Here's the license. Approve. Submit. And then we'll ping some other people to approve. Oh no, wait, our hell has already done it, so we can merge. Cool. And then the other thing that I need to do is contact this person. And then we'll go into the other repository, and we'll also go into the forum because I have been slacking on my various maintenance activities. Slacking in the sense that I've been busy doing work. So not able to do free work. I imagine that CB has some comment about work and free work. Or at the very least has feelings about it. But I can't see the chat because I closed my phone. I closed my phone, so okie dokie. So, and there's a typhoon heading my way this week. So I'm a little bit worried that I'm gonna get caught up in a typhoon again like I did last year, but in a completely different country. So yeah, I mean, I don't know whether Japan has the same rules as Taiwan does. It's the reason that I got stranded last year in Taiwan when there was a typhoon was not necessarily because it could have been too dangerous for planes to take off, but also Also, I think it's the mayor of Taiwan, or the government of Taipei or Taiwan, or the different local governments can declare like a typhoon day, which means nobody goes into work and things all shut down essentially. And that was when I got stuck for an extra day, only an extra day. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, technically it wasn't an open source software license. If you're going by like the, what is it? Oh my goodness. Like the whichever foundation or organization like standardized like approves licenses. Okay, so I've just gone back to Big Chat just so that I can message this person on LinkedIn again, or message them for the very first time, since I maybe forgot to do it. Yeah, okay. That's tricky. So I can't actually message them because LinkedIn has a paywall, which is amazing. Hey there, you added a job on our open source software design board. I can't see any information. Design job board, here's the link. I can't see any information around what, if at all, you what license, which open source software license, if at all, you intend to put this website / service under. We have a rule that we don't list jobs that are like how do I say this nicely? We don't list jobs that are like oh wait, I've gone over the limit of characters. Okay, I'm gonna have to reduce this. Can't see any information. Info. Good grief. There we go. Okay, hopefully she messages me back, because otherwise her job is not going to get merged. Okay. Let's go back to the big cam. Yes. Bring the book down on this man, woman, person. Yes. It's a tricky thing, because a lot of people misunderstand the open source design job board as like designers looking for anything to contribute to, which, you know, actually could be true. The designers that frequent the job board actually may be looking for anything to contribute to. However, we only will list projects that have an open source software license somewhere in their project. One of the other things that I need to merge is not necessarily something for open source design, but Tofu's, who is a lovely person that does a lot of open source software contributions in Taipei and Taiwan for the Gov0 civic open source software tech sector, has been translating so many of the open source software resources that Superbloom has made, and some of the work that I've done has been translating it all into Mandarin. So there are now like Mandarin translations of loads of my lovely colleagues at Superbloom's work, which is fantastic. So I think it's really interesting because Tofu's uses an AI tool to do the rough translation first from English to Mandarin, and then I think what he does is he goes through the Mandarin translation and corrects things where it's maybe made a mistake, and made sure that terminology is consistent. Because it's always really tricky. Not that I know this in detail, but it's always I know I know something around like translation difficulties mean that sometimes words don't translate particularly accurately to other languages from English. But the difficult thing here is I've done this a couple of times now with Tofu's translations. I can't actually like QA them because I don't know Mandarin. So I trust you that this is all good and translated accurately. Tofu's is super cool. If anybody's looking for new people to follow in the open source software space that do fantastic work, then absolutely go check out Tofu's. We'll go on their GitHub, and we'll pop it in the Twitch chat. We'll pop it in the Twitch chat at some point soon. Maybe when we go back to the big cam. I actually have never read Tofu's GitHub profile, but I love like he's doing stuff at Gov0 Taiwan, open source design, and he loves kimchi and stinky tofu. I have yet to enjoy stinky tofu. It's fine. It's tasty, but it's still hard to enjoy. Because of the smell, because it's called stinky tofu, and that's why. What have we got going on? 2 weeks ago, check and see this text. I think somebody wanted to take this issue. I can assign you this issue if you would like to try. I'll unassign you after 1 month if there is no progress. I've sort of learned at this point to make like a indication that that you will unassign somebody from an issue if they don't like get around to it. So, which I think is reasonable, because sometimes I've known people to pick up issues and then never work on them, and then you at them in the comments like, are you gonna do this? And they don't reply. So yeah. Okay, so another one. I'll assign you this issue for 1 month and then unassign if there's no progress. Thank you. Smiley face. Diaz, I'm just reading your comment about translation. Yeah, it's really tricky. Google Translate is actually pretty decent most of the time. Like, if you don't mind getting an idea of what's being said, it absolutely will not give you, like, the meaning, like the fully expressed meaning or detail. But when I was at this conference in Taiwan, and some of the talks were being, so the main talks had like auto translate that was reasonably accurate on the screen when the talks were in Mandarin, and but some of the smaller talks in the smaller spaces didn't have the automatic translation function on the screens. So I just kind of had my phone out and used Google Translate to try and get like an idea of what was being said, especially if there was like if somebody had done a talk where the slides that they were using were in Mandarin, but basically kind of summarized what they were talking about. I'd miss the nuance of what they were explaining, and if they were explaining a situation, but at the very least I could understand the bullet points from translating the text on the screen. But one of the things that I noticed that it can't do, Google Translate or like automatic translation functions, is like it can't keep up with speech. So if you are doing a talk in a language where some of the audience members do not know that language, or know that language but maybe don't know it to sort of like the extent that they would need to understand a talk, then what you would need to do is put in long pauses, kind of what I do a little bit when I talk. Like I try to put in quite long pauses at the end of sentences, and sometimes I get them in the middle. And that's partly to do with how my brain works. But also I found that it's quite useful for people that don't have like a level of English that, you know, their level of English, they need some time to process it. Apparently it's actually quite useful the way that I talk. So I'm very clear with my pronunciation, and the pauses that I give are in good like places, usually good places, for somebody to process the information. But Google Translate would need like a pause of a significant length to stop listening and do like a translation. And then obviously you need to read it, so tricky. Anyway, we've done our regular maintenance work there. Let's take a quick look at the forum. Okay, let's see. Oh, this was one of the ones that got merged recently. Oh, 2 weeks ago. Ay, this keeps happening in the forum. Let's welcome both of these people. Let's welcome Tofus. And let's also welcome Menti Amote Johu. I hope I pronounced that reasonably. My name is Johu, but you can call me Joe. Cool. Welcome to you both. if you'd like to be added to a regional open source design team, then I can add you to a city/country location on our GitHub organization. Right. I'm also just gonna make sure that these people know they need to message. They need to email the person. They can't. Well, they can reply on the forum, but they also need to email the person. Teams. Where is the teams section? It's in here. Nope, here. Okay. Boop. I hope to see you both at a monthly call. Let's grab the monthly call. I tutted because I always need certain things open when I'm doing replies. We have one that's in a CET friendly time zone, and one that is in a, let's see, like, I guess it's kind of in a sort of China standard time, and IST friendly time. I always have to type out China Standard Time because there are two CSTs. There's China Standard Time, and then there's also the CST, which is the middle of the USA. So I like to make sure that I am understood. There we go. So that's everything that I need. You know, sometimes you make like accidental noises with like your mouth and body, and like sometimes it seems like I'm tutting. Central Time. Sometimes it seems like I'm tutting or like making the noise, and it's mostly just because I've remembered something that I need to do and I haven't, prepared it ahead of time or something like that, and it's not like an outwards noise, it's an inwards noise, if you know what I mean. I'm tutting in or making a noise that almost like reminds me that I need to do something, as opposed to that I'm annoyed at something. Okay. Ritesh and Polkit, please make sure you also email the person that posted this job. Also, please please review the rules. Where are they? Job postings. Are they here? Oh, where did I put them? Oh, stop messing about with the charger cable. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. I could have sworn they must be in the open source design meta. Do you know what would be a quicker way to find the link that I need? Go on GitHub, go here, then go here, then go here, and then go here. Please review the rules for responding to a job post here on the forum. Smile so that you don't sound angry. Because I'm not angry. I just want to remind people that there are rules for posting replies to jobs. Okay, so we've got a little under 20 minutes of the time left. Let's do a little bit of both of these last few tasks. So let's take a little look at the design contribution for open source brief and just have a quick look and see whether there's any sort of comments that we can make on this around what we think. So this brief helps to set expectations and document the essentials you need to communicate to designers interested in contributing to your project. How do I haven't used commenting function. There we go. Would be good if essentials was a hyperlink to some more detailed documentation about what the essentials could mean in this context. E.G. document the essentials you need. E.G. I need logo files in a vector format that is able to be opened and manipulated by Inkscape or another open design tool. So that's an example of the essentials that you need to communicate to designers, but also that's a specific example of an essential, but this could do with this documentation section could do with the kinds of details that designers need before they start certain types of design work. E.G. You ask for user research, be willing and able to provide any past user research. Any past, I want to say relevant user research, but I guess any past user research is still going to be useful. Add Inkscape to my dictionary. Can't believe that it's not already there. Right, we've done one comment. About the project. So this is interesting that they're using the language project. Open source project. Designer is interested to keep the content clear, containing essential information about the project. I feel remind each time that this is for open source software projects. Or are you kind of facilitating design contributions for projects that also do not have open source software licenses? What are the criteria for projects to